向環球時事之門，真正言論門常開。劉墉隨意門。
好，大家好。咁咧，今集隨意門咧，我哋就轉咗 setting。咁咧就我之前都已經預告過啦。咁啊，今集咧會係英文隨意門，因為咧我哋請咗個即係英語嘅嘉賓Matthew Torne。He's the director of a new documentary released recently in Hong Kong, Lessons in Dissent.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. So today it will be all in English, which is I think it is the first time in meme XK history. So from now on I'll be talking in English with Matthew, and hope you guys wouldn't mind and be ready for this English version of my show, 隨意門. Okay, and I explained to Matthew earlier that actually the background is, I don't know, I think it is New York.
It looks like New York.
It looks like New York, right?
It's got yellow traffic lights.
Yeah, and because this is last week I thought actually we could do it live, but not really today, so we actually have to do it as a recording. So you can keep sending live chats during the show. I will answer that personally during the live hours, but Matthew unfortunately could not respond it immediately. But never mind, we can actually have other time doing this kind of interaction with Matthew. So, Matthew, why you're here is because of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go to see the trailer of the film. 未夠稱，就有黃之鋒同埋馬仔嚇 Lessons in Dissent. Let's look at the trailer first, and we come back to talk about the film.
Hong Kong is dying. Hong Kong is dead.
我哋只係作為一班學生，我哋想表達我哋嘅聲音。打中地產霸權！社會運動嘅目的就係要令到多啲人有一個意識提升嘅。咁年輕人咁總係要對社會有啲期望㗎。改寫香港歷史。文係民主嘅嘛。
大家睇一套戲啦嚇，就 we've watched the trailer of the film. That's Matthew's baby.
Yeah.
So, explain first why you have the idea, because why a Brit coming all the way to Hong Kong, doing a documentary about social movements of young kids in Hong Kong.
It's insane, basically. Yeah. A crazy idea which many people thought I was very silly to pursue, and maybe I was. But I think if you're passionate about things, sometimes sort of sensible economic decisions go out of the window, and you do things because you feel that this is an important story, it needs to be told. And basically, I was at a film festival in Bucharest in Romania, Human Rights Film Festival, and
when was that?
In March 2011.
Okay, right. So 3 years ago.
Yeah, and I was with another film that was about Cambodia and the Holocaust in Cambodia, and I was watching lots of really great films, but nothing on China and nothing about Hong Kong.
Right.
And I sat there thinking, I've been making films for corporate companies for a long time. I can do this. And what do I know about? Well, I know about Hong Kong. And Hong Kong is an important subject. What happens in Hong Kong is actually really important for the rest of the world. We never, I have to try and persuade people in the West that Hong Kong is of some kind of importance. They seem to think that it's no longer interesting and that only China is interesting. But actually, if Hong Kong provides a window onto China. It allows we have just enough freedom in Hong Kong to draw out the Communist Party,
right,
draw out the liaison office, and you can see their tactics and how they operate. On the mainland, that's more obscured. So a lot of the academics working in mainland topics, Western academics, a lot of it is conjecture. It's we think this. Whereas in Hong Kong, they actually say, well, actually, no, we know this because this happened, this happened. One of the pandems went and met with liaison office. They said this. You can and liaison office spokesman will talk. So you can see enough to get some idea of how United Front works, how the liaison office works. And you understand how it works, then you understand a lot more of what goes on in China. So Hong Kong is incredibly important. And also, I think Hong Kong is just important in itself because it's an amazing city. It's a wonderful place. That
well, we don't really think so.
Yeah, I know. You know, it always amazes me how, you know, you ask a New Yorker, what's the greatest city in the world, right? Without a hazard of a doubt, a New Yorker will tell you, New York, of course. You ask a Londoner and they'll go, London.
Maybe London,
Because they want to be a little bit more, have a bit more humility, but they still believe it's the best city in the world. You ask a Hong Kong, what's the best city in the world? They'll name London, New York, Tokyo, Singapore, Shanghai. They'll never name Hong Kong.
No one names
This is insane. Hong Kong is an amazing city. It really, I don't understand why people don't celebrate their own city more, and maybe if they celebrated it more, then they would care about it more and they'd want to be involved in looking after it, because you know, I think what's happening in Hong Kong is, you know, really quite tragic. Essentially, what made Hong Kong special is being dismantled and eroded, and many Hong Kong people don't seem to want to stand up and fight for it. So I try to make a film which, you know, documented 2 young kids who were willing to stand up and fight for it.
Have you had any connection with Hong Kong before you had the idea of making a documentary about Hong Kong?
Yeah. I mean, I moved to live in Hong Kong in 2003. So I was.
But 2003 actually was the most. It was what a year.
Yeah. I mean, I was in Beijing. I lived in Beijing for a year after leaving university, and SARS happened. When I was in Beijing, the university I was working for was a quite prestigious university, and I said to them, you know, what's this thing SARS? You know, I'm hearing about it through my parents on telephone calls because I can't access any Western media. And they're like, SARS, no, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. So I was like, okay. A week later, they called us for a meeting and they said, actually, you know, SARS is serious. We'd really like you to leave this week. And so I went from thinking SARS was no big deal to thinking, oh my gosh, I got to get out of here.
Yeah, in a week.
In a week. So that was on the Sunday, they told us leave. By Thursday, I was on a flight out. And I packed up all my stuff and was out there. Because SARS was even more scary in China. Because you didn't know. So how many people were getting sick in Beijing? God knows. In Hong Kong,
now we don't know the death toll actually.
Exactly, but at least in Hong Kong, you know, it was serious, but we knew there was enough transparency back in 2003. You have to ask yourself, if it happened now, would the same transparency be happening?
I'm not sure about that.
No, I'm not either. But I ended up coming to Hong Kong, and I arrived just a few days before July 1st, 2003.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And I moved into a flat in Wan Chai. And I remember like sat there on the day, trying to unpack my stuff. And there was this huge noise from Hennessy Road, and I was like, what?
Then they explained everything. I mean, your story explained everything, because if you moved to Hong Kong a few days before 1st of July 2003, then you must be, I mean, moved. You must have been
how
moved
can you
by
not be? I mean, I don't understand a lot of Westerners who come to Hong Kong and basically have, you know, they enjoy the riches of Hong Kong, the low tax system and everything else, but then they don't take any interest in the place. They don't seem to care for it. They live in a bubble world in the mid-levels or the peak and don't really seem interested to explore. I find that I love the place. I know I love wandering around Sham Shui Po or Kwun Tong or any of these sort of districts and just seeing the life.
Normal Hong Kong people don't go actually.
Yeah.
I mean, the people living in Hong Kong Island,
I know.
They don't go. What Sham Shui Po? We don't go there. I mean, but you go there.
Well, when I was living on Hong Kong Island, you know, just to go to Tsim Sha Tsui was like, to cross the water was like, oh my gosh.
Oh, you have heard this story as well? Because I've had a group of sort of upper class friends, and when I told them that I'm going to Tsim Sha Tsui tonight to have dinner with my friends, and she was my boss actually 10 years ago, and she would say, oh, you're going to the dark side?
Yes. It's almost as if you're going to Shenzhen.
Yes. This is as crazy.
Well, this is why I'm so pleased that our movie is now in MCL Cornwall, or actually in Hong Kong Island, because all those Hong Kong Islanders who thought that Kowloon Bay was too far now have a chance to see the film.
Okay.
So-
Now, before the break, yeah, as Matthew just said, actually, the film Lessons in Descent will be screening at Cornhill Cinema,
Yeah.
康怡戲院 in the next few weeks actually.
Starting on Saturday.
Saturday 呢個禮拜六OK， so 如果大家未睇嘅話 if you have seen the film, then go to Cornhill Cinema 康怡戲院就可以睇到咧呢個未夠情 Lessons in Descent. With a break, listen to some music and we're back in a few minutes and then we'll talk about the film itself.
Hello， 大家好，我係雨橋，恭喜立克好大藥房大展宏圖，大家去買完之後都立克好。
Hello， 大家好，我係黃宗堯，祝立克好，生意興隆，財源廣進，客似雲來。
恭賀立克好大藥房開張，宏圖大展。